So this is a quick little demo to show how to use the Boolean Dev Kit. So you can access the Dev Kit once you've copied it into your brushes, ZStartup brushes folder. I personally attach it to a menu, a subpalette, you know. I find it easier. You can look how to do a subpalette following ZBrush's videos. I find it always very, very useful, you know, to create your own palette. So I'm going to start with the core kit, you know, which has quite a lot of choices. And this is my go-to brush to do all hard surface work I do for movies and video games and other entertainment projects. I find that this kind of carries me 90% of the way for any type of design, whether it's a vehicle, whether it's any other hard surface, really find it very useful. So this is just a decimated cylinder that I have here. And the way I usually work is, what I do is that I add kind of shapes, you know, to my model, you know, and I'm not going to do anything specific here, you know. Very often what I start with is I just start with just cutting shapes into a volume, you know. You can use this, you can use the curve. So you can start like that, you know. This is a good way to start a model for me. I just like to dig into it, nice and easy. And then you can add volumes, of course, positive volumes, you know, like this. Like this. I'm not trying to do like a very specific design, you know. But you can also add any other kind of rectangular shapes as well. Like this. Just to get the point across, okay? And once I have this, what I do in order to fake what would be a bevel, you know, I do a Dynamesh. Here you go, I can add a little more resolution. Here you go, and then I polish it. And that gives us kind of a nice overall volume with blended volumes into each other. So that's always nice. And there is a bevel plugin that's going to come in ZBrush very soon, and it's going to marry very well with what I just demonstrated, especially the fact that we have different poly groups here, you know, and that's something that's going to come in and blend very, very well with that Boolean Dev Kit that we have here. And then what I do once I have this basic shape, you can duplicate it if you want to keep the other version. You put it in a new folder. And I'm going to activate live Booleans. Usually you can access this through render Booleans, live Booleans. And this is a great place to start for us to start playing with Boolean shapes. So the way I do it is that I have my shape selected, for example. I create the shape on top of the surface. By default, you know, most of those brushes are halfway inside, you know, which is a great place to start. And then I'm going to separate it by saying split unmask points. And then I'm going to put it as a negative Boolean. And then you can really move it around. You can either move around the base, but the best is to move the Boolean, you know, and you can create some interesting shape that way, you know. And what's great about that is that this process is extremely fast. I mean, when it comes to Booleans, I mean, there's basically no other software that does Booleans as fast as ZBrush does, which is why this technique is perfect for ZBrush. And you can just move stuff around, you know, scale it up, and just create some really interesting shapes very quickly. Here we go. This. And I Control Alt to move it, and that gives me a duplicate of what I just did. And here I'm not necessarily going for a very good design. I'm just trying to show that doing hard surfaces using Booleans is just such a fun and efficient way of working, you know. And then you have other shapes, of course, you can choose from. Let's say this rectangular shape to fit in there. Here we go. Move it. And it's really adding tons of fun to the modeling process, you know. There's no such thing as trying to do a clean geometry for now or anything. It's really about pure design. After, of course, you know, in ZBrush, you have tons of ways to clean up a design, you know, and make sure that the design is sound, you know. But here, what we're really focusing on is, I don't want to focus on loops or anything. Here, I'm just trying to find like some interesting shape just to demo those tools, you know. So here, and take another rectangle. Here. Move one underneath. This. Here we go. And so that's kind of like our secondary step Boolean, our first step, I'd say, of Booleans after we did the blending of the shapes. What I do usually is that I Control W in order to make all these tools as one polygroup, because that's going to be very useful later on when we go into another software like Keyshot for rendering, and we can select those areas as a specific polygroup to apply different materials. So here we go. So I have that folder now. And I'm going to render this Boolean. You can either render this and then go through another stages of detail just for the sake of this demo. But usually I just stick into the same folder and I just add my details. So this is my main shapes. And then from there, I would add details. So, but just to be more clear for this video, what I'm going to do is I'm going to Boolean this folder. Because I don't know if people are used to use this technique or not, you know. And then I have a new folder. I'm going to start fresh. And then I'm going to add now just details. And this is so easy to do with that with those brushes, of course. You just go ahead and here we go. X. I put symmetry. Same technique, split and mask points. So now we're here, and we can really add tons and tons of details really wherever we want. It just makes the process so much more fun. And I'm not saying that it's necessarily the cleanest process, of course, because the geometry you end up with is kind of noisy, you know. But when it comes to design and when it comes to concept art especially, you know, the goal is to really create a very quick concept in as little time as possible in order for it to be reviewed by an art director or something. So I'm going to put some more cylindrical shapes maybe. This one's a nice one. Maybe one more flat. Some more flat. There you go. After, of course, in all these divots, you can add like screws and whatnot, you know, things that are available already in ZBrush brushes and very well known by everybody. And then the other thing you can do, these are all the tools that we have in there. So you see we have tons of different tools. But the other tools that we have in there are some cut line tools, basically. Where you can just come in here. And really position your cut lines wherever you want them. As you can see from the model, the cut lines are kind of wide. So they do support curves pretty well. You could also apply a follow shape, you know. But I'm not going to do it here because I don't need to. The curve is not that big based on the size of that model. Here we go. Another one here. And I just love ZBrush for that. It just makes the concept art process very pleasant and very fast and just fun altogether. You know, and the level of complexity and depth you can have on a model is just kind of unequaled in any other softwares. Okay, so let's say this is our very, very important machine that we've designed. Here I'm going to look at the polygroups. Yeah, it's not too bad. I mean, it's very high poly, but for Keyshot, it's not too much of a big deal. And of course, it's nothing for ZBrush. So I'm gonna just put these polygroups together, and I'm just gonna keep the other polygroups together. There you go, Control W. I'm gonna Boolean this folder. I'm gonna take this object all the way to Keyshot in order to render it. So for those who don't know how to do, you can do to render, external renderer, Keyshot. I'm not going to put auto merge because I want the polygroups to be separated. So I'm going to group split. Okay. It seems that we have 3 groups for some reason. So I'm going to merge that one down. Merge down. Here you go. Now we have those 2. And we're just going to export these 2 visible here. And BPR, let's see what happens. It's launching Keyshot. There you go, I already have a material ready for this. So I'm just going to apply it. And that texture actually comes with the kit. So it should be pretty nice for you to use. So we see a little more details. And you can apply another material to the inside parts. So if we go to metal, and then let's see if I can apply this to this. Here you go. So we see a little bit better the inside part. And logically, it'd probably be better if it was a darker metal. Here we go. No, it's okay. And here you go. There you have it. You have a very nice, quickly made hard surface part that you can use either the part for a model or, and this is just, of course, like a demonstration for our core kit, which is really to do like really smaller details or maybe like a big mechanical parts, you know, that are on their own without necessarily a specific design. You can do vehicles with that. You can do flying vehicles, driving vehicles, anything you want, basically. You have all the basic shapes for hard surfaces that are very important. And that's pretty much it. So this is the technique, and I hope it's clear enough. I know it's very fast. Like I said, it's not necessarily good for like when it comes to topology of the objects, but topology nowadays is something that you can very easily fix either in ZBrush using ZRemesher or the topology tools in ZBrush. But you can also use other softwares like 3ds Max or Blender. I mean, all these softwares now have really nice retopology tools. And the goal really, and that's what I'm trying to emphasize the thing on, is that this is a very, I think it's the fastest way to prototype shapes and designs and concepts for hard surface for entertainment projects. I mean, I use this technique on a daily basis. I developed this technique 5 years ago. Using other softwares with Booleans, but then when ZBrush came up with their amazing Booleans, I've just been cranking and using that technique on a daily basis, basically. So I hope this is helpful. I hope you like the kit. If you have any questions, you can post them underneath in our YouTube comments. Thank you very much for being with us. And if you have any questions, just send me a line. Thank you for everything. Have a good day, and I hope you enjoy the kit. The next kit coming up is the Jet Kit. If you want to do any flying vehicles, Jet Kit is excellent. Thank you. Bye.